All right, 1, 2, let's get right into it. You know, a lot of hip hop media heads I've seen on YouTube and heard on the various podcasts, they always ask, who's next? Where are the next stars at? Especially after the Kendrick and Drake battle with J. Cole. What's going on with the future of hip hop? You know, you hear all these really old heads doing too much. People who are not paying attention, people who don't really listen to the music and the artists that are out here putting forth really good efforts. And enter somebody like Vaughn. Vaughn, this is a mixtape. If this is a mixtape, I can't wait to hear what the album sounds like. But the quality hip hop and the next stars are already here if you're listening. And Vaughn definitely proved that with this project. Now let's get into it. Vaughn from Long Beach, California, signed to TDE in 2021. I think his first record was the Peer Pressure EP. Most people got into Vaughn last year just through Crashout Heritage, where he threw shots at Joey Badass, as Joey Badass was throwing shots at Kendrick and the whole West Coast, trying to clout chase what it seems like right now. Joey waiting on that project, but waiting on a response as well. Kind of got at you on that Crashout Heritage. But definitely a very skilled MC. Last year he dropped a lot of features and records. 87 Cutlass with The Game, I remember. Everybody Dies, the Blasphemy record, kind of sound like Baby Keem on that record, but I like that record. The Problems record with Pusha T, there's a remix that you should check out with the Cream sample from the Wu-Tang Clan, the Cream beat. The one with the Cream beat goes crazy. Problems featuring Pusha T. But Vaughn is definitely, I think, one of hip hop's next stars, and I think this project definitely proves that. In doing research for this, I knew he was going to be one of the ones next up when in an interview he said that he practiced how to convey his bars in the mirror when he performs. That kind of dedication, that level of dedication is what it takes to be a top MC. You know, hip hop is small as far as the artist is concerned, but it's also very competitive. You know what I'm saying? Everybody thinks they can rap. So there's a lot of noise that you have to wade through when you really have skills and you really have talent. Vaughn understands that, and I think that's why you get a great project like this. Now, in listening to this project for the first time, I want to say the album really felt like the hood again. I haven't lived in the hood since I was a kid, but this took me back to that real feeling of the hood, late 90s, early 2000s. I know he's not that old, right? But this took me back to that feeling of growing up in the hood. He captured that very masterfully in this record. And one thing I would like to point out is that he understands how to use his voice to increase the impact of his words and the meaning and the feeling behind the song. And I think that's what draws you into being able to visualize and feel what he's talking about. Even if that wasn't your experience growing up, you know what I'm saying? The way he uses his voice to really put you in those situations, you know what I'm saying? Just through vocal inflection, just through emotion, through the words, bringing that to life. Because when you listen to a record, you can't see the person, right? Even though he practices that as well. Again, that's the makings of a complete MC and somebody who's definitely going to make some noise in this industry for years to come. And in the intro record, Flocka's Remorse, it sets the tone perfectly, and he uses those tools that I just talked about perfectly in that record. From the skit that starts it to the actual song itself. This song perfectly captured the mindset of young struggling youth in the hood, period, point blank, right? And he does that throughout the album. Some of my favorite records, Triple XT, Dollar Menu, Clown Dance, Look at God, Janky Moral Compass, Flash Shasta. Now, when we get to Dollar Menu, the beat switch in that is insane. You know what I'm saying? It starts off kind of as a regular hip hop record where it seems like he's going to get into storytelling, then it just switches up. And it's, like I said, it was a perfect execution of an idea used in two ways when you're talking about Dollar Menu, right? The turn up in that record is excellent. And it's not forced. The way they have a little skit in between, and then it just switches the whole emotion of the record. Love that record, Dollar Menu. Flash Shasta, as well as Suburban Kids. Like I said earlier, the emotions of the story was perfectly executed. He put you in the mindset of a kid struggling with his mother in Flash Shasta, of a kid struggling growing up in the hood and being adjacent to the suburbs and the family issues that come from growing up in that environment and making it out. You know what I'm saying? He expressed those things perfectly without it coming off as forced or corny. And when some people do it, that's how it comes across. You know, he's telling you his actual story, not something he saw in a movie or something he saw in a TV series and he thinks that's what he has to portray to be a rapper. You know, we get a lot of that, or I felt that we've had a lot of that from some artists, and it's refreshing to hear it in a more real perspective from actual experience. Another one of my favorite records, Clown Dance, with the J-Rock feature. Now, it's brave to have J-Rock feature on one of your records because J-Rock always destroys features, always. But Ray Vaughn kept it, he held his own with a bunch of talented features on the record. And that's another mark of a good MC, is when you're able to go get people who are very talented, you know what I'm saying, dope MCs to feature on your record, and you're not scared to do that, and you hold your own with every one of them. And real quick, let me just go through the features of J-Rock, who I already mentioned on Clown Dance, Isaiah Rashad on East Chat, you had Samara Sin, you have La Russell, you had Sydney Leona, you had Jermaine, and the versatility in the features matches the versatility of the records. But even though the records were very different, it didn't sound like somebody just putting together a hodgepodge of songs that they had and just threw them on a project. All of the records made sense, even with the different tones and the different sounds and the different styles that they used. You know, every real hip hop fan got something that they would like on this record, in my opinion. You know, like the perfect riding records is Janky Moral Compass, East Chat, Miles Away, 3 p.m. at Dairies. The turn up records are Triple XT, Dollar Menu, like I said with the beat switch, Look at God. Those Pain, more real talk records in Suburban Kids, in Flat Shasta. Like I said, he covered every sound that I think he wanted to cover that would match the tone of the album, and he did it seamlessly as an MC. So the versatility is definitely there, and let's get into the grades for the album. All right, y'all know me already. I grade on a curve, so if I think you're a dope MC and you don't bring it, then the grade will be low. But on this, I do think Ray Vaughn obviously is a dope MC, and I give his lyrics and rapping an A, not an A+, because I think he has another level to reach. But I give him an A mainly because of the style switching. He fit and sat in every beat perfectly. And like I said, the tones of the songs are very different. In many cases, you know, it goes back and forth to being calm, to being hyped, to being serious, etc. And he flowed on each one and conveyed his message perfectly. Lyrically, I just want him to turn it up one more notch for me. Now, I would have made it A+, but A on that. The production, B+. The only reason I'm giving it a B+ is because I don't think they took a lot of chances with the production. Every beat is pretty fire, but more chances on the album, I would say, and that would get that grade up in the A+ range. Subject matter, A+. He conveyed his message perfectly. The album title fits the records perfectly. He kept the story consistent and congruent throughout the album from beginning to end. A+ on subject matter. Track order and album flow, I'm giving it A-. Again, when you're switching up between tones and between emotions, I would say, between tempos, it's difficult. But at the same time, I think they did a really good job with that. So I just give them an A-. Could have been a little bit cleaner, but that's being real picky. But anyway, creativity and originality, B+. The album had pretty much one subject matter. That's the only reason I'm going to give him a B+ on that. You know, it's a story we've heard before. Now, I think Ray Vaughn told the story in his own way, and it's not boring. Like a lot of rappers try this and, you know, give their coming up story, and it does not land. His landed. It was very much original, but it could, like I said, I'm being a little tough on him because I think he has certified classic album making ability, right? And this is close, but it's not quite there. But then again, this is just a mixtape. It's not the album yet. So B+. So the overall grade for it is an A-. Can't wait for the album if this is just a mixtape. And when I first heard it, I thought it was an album. When I saw it was a mixtape and he's saying the album's coming, I'm like, okay, we got another one, and TDE got another one, and hip hop is in good hands. Hip hop is in good hands with artists like Ray Vaughn. We know all the other artists that are out there. Like I said, a lot of MCs, most of the features on this album, like the newer artists like La Russell and Samara Sin, all making great music right now. Hip hop is in good hands. If you have not heard this album yet, go stream this album right now. Stop the video, right? Hit the like button first. but then stop the video and go listen to the album right now. Great album. Great job, Ray Vaughn. Thoroughly enjoyed this. We'll be listening to this all summer. Can't wait to hear the official first album. Don't rush it. You know what I'm saying? This will carry you on till you're done with that project. But I think you definitely got a classic in you in the first record. I know that's pressure, but I'm sorry. We expected this hip hop. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. Y'all let me know what y'all think if you heard this album already in the comments below. Y'all know what to do. Hit that like button if you haven't hit that like button yet. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Share this video. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Thank y'all for watching as always, and we out.